In today's fast-paced society, life has become complicated. It's become increasingly difficult to direct our lives and to plan for and work towards the future. While some people can follow any path, take any direction, and function well wherever they end up, others are locked into set routines and environments. Their attitudes limited and their opportunities restricted. To make significant change, individuals, families, or organizations must have a clear vision of where they want to be and an effective vehicle for getting there. That process is PATH, Planning Alternative Tomorrows with Hope.
What I want to do is
PATH is a planning process designed to provide creative solutions to complex problems. It can benefit an individual, family, or organization. A PATH session is an 8-stage process that takes approximately 2 hours to complete and can involve any sized group, from 2 to 50 participants.
By August, and so you go.
While it's valuable for anyone in any situation, we'll demonstrate the process with Joe, a 20-year-old who has a lot of tough decisions to make. Joe's PATH was organized to help him determine a new direction for his life and to help create an effective support system for him.
Okay, good.
The process requires 2 people to conduct a session effectively, a facilitator and a graphic recorder.
What symbols?
The facilitator guides the process, keeping everyone focused and ensuring that they stay on track and on time. It takes skill to probe the group effectively, encouraging some participants and constraining others. Everyone should participate without anyone dominating.
No, you just summed it up.
The graphic recorder provides a visual record of the path. This helps stimulate discussion and enhances creativity. At the end of each path segment, the recorder summarizes the section using the graphic as a guide. This keeps the group focused and verifies that the path is accurate and desirable.
Who's bringing the peanuts? Who's making the phone?
The path video and workbook were developed as training tools. It's our hope that with these resources and with a little practice, you'll soon be conducting path sessions that will generate creative solutions and new directions.
PATH is an exciting new colorful planning process. What it does is explores the future by building a dream and taking us back through steps to a tangible, manageable future.
John O'Brien and Jack and I designed PATH to get people dreaming again, to get them out of the constraints that they're in the present and take them on a future trip which is colorful, creative, and very powerful.
But the path isn't just a dream. It takes us back through a series of ordered steps that give us a framework to get to simple beginning steps. We can build the future. When you're in a really messy problem, something that's complicated, normally, for most human beings, you can't figure out, all you know is that you're stuck. You're sort of in the mud. And every time you move, you sink a little bit further and you want to get out of it, but you're not sure what to do. And every time you move, you get deeper. So this is a process that's designed to try and help people when they're stuck and aren't too sure which way to turn except they want to get out. And so this is about doing what we just did a few seconds ago. This is letting go of the present, just for a couple hours. Leave it be. Park it at the door. And don't worry about it. For a couple hours, we just want to, in fact, even just for an hour, we need to leave that go and we're going to explore the future. And then from the future, we'll figure out how to get there. But first of all, we've got to let it go and plan the future a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. Does that make sense?
And people get really nervous sometimes when we're in the future. We promise you here, you come back to the present. But for the first half hour, we're going to the future. Okay? So let's go. In touching the dream, we ask people to get out of the present and to go for a future that they really, really want. Most of us are bogged down in the constraints and the limits of the present. The facilitator's job in this stage is to say to people, don't be realistic. Don't worry about budget restraints. Don't worry about limitations of any type. Go for it.
It's going to be really hard to get people unlocked. So you got to work at it. And what you have to do, it really helps if you can get people to talk in images, think in images, and do not interpret their images. Just go with them. Some of them will be wonderfully outrageous. Live with it. That'll be your discomfort, not theirs.
And the theory is that people create positive, desirable futures, and that it's not impossible to get there. This is the heart of the path process.
If there's no dream, there isn't a future. So this is where you have to invest your energy. So what we want to do is we want to get you to talk, Joe, and then some of your family and others, about what's your North Star. So the question is, in the long term, without any restraint, don't worry about money, don't worry about anything. This is the big picture. What's your North Star image? What drives you? When you get up in the morning and you know you're going the right direction, what are the images? What are the words that are real important in your life?
The sports. The sports. Sports. The swimming, wheelchair, basketball, track and field, swimming. Music.
Music.
Reading the newspaper, going to the store to get the newspaper.
First of all, independent businessman, and having a very, very good income so that he has no concerns whatsoever about finances. I see him being finally seen to be not only intelligent, but very intelligent and creative. And I see him running his own business through his computer network. And I see him having all sorts of time to pursue his sports and music, and that he's basically computerized his music so that he can write his own music on the computer and perform it that way himself and have other people perform it for him. Like he writes music for his brother's band, for example. And I see him having started with a network of friends that started at the co-op and moving on to having just this huge gang of people that he hangs around with. And then in time, settling down to have a family of his own, but basically he wants to have fun for about 15 years first.
15?
She said 15. Does that sound good?
I see him having access to his own transportation, his own van of some sort, or just something so he doesn't have to depend on wheel-trans.
If he wants to go to the hockey game or go to the Blue Jays, he can just get on the telephone and call some friends and go.
Joe, what we usually do is Jack takes 2 minutes to just, for you, to summarize it so that you get a chance to say, that this is really your picture. So he's going to direct this to you, but the rest of you can chime in if there's anything missing.
Okay. This is, as best I got it, a picture of your vision of what your North Star vision. This is what makes you tick. This is what drives you. This is what's important. And there were, right off the top, this whole sports theme just sort of leaps out. And there's basketball and wheelchair sports and swimming and all kinds of stuff. And then there's a music theme with percussions and clarinets and music and music and music and music and listening. But those sort of really, really just came right off the page very early on. And then as we look at, so what does life look like if we were getting some of that? It's moving from being lonely toward independence. And the independence has stuff like more effective communications in it, whether it's a modem and a computer, whatever it is, but more effective communications. And that allows a whole bunch of things. That builds into this business network, which generates money, which allows us to do a whole bunch of other stuff.
Dreams are unlimited. Make the effort to help people dream without constraints.
The next step is sensing the goal. What we're really doing is taking people on a little time travel into the future, about a year hence. Once we've got them there, we ask them to remember the year, what happened in detail, in the year that actually hasn't happened yet.
And we coach them. We really coach them in the use of the past tense. What happened? Where did it happen? With whom did it happen? And we have two criteria. It has to be a positive and a possible future.
What we're doing is asking people to think backwards. Not backwards thinking, think backwards. It's a lot easier to visit the future that way.
The theory behind this is that what people construct in their futures is absolutely possible to happen. Yeah. Whether it's in business or in education or in whatever.
So this is remember backwards. And what I want you to remember is all the neat stuff that happened this last year. You aren't here yet. I don't know what's happened. You won't have built up all your air miles yet, but you might have had some. You may not have your own van yet, but you have to tell me what's happened. You feel like you're on track. You feel like you're making progress. What do you remember happening this past year?
We'll start you off. I remember hearing that he moved.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you lived-
That's just about a
you
year
moved.
ago, isn't it?
It was a great trip that he took in 1994, visiting not only his brothers but his business associates in the United States and possibly even Mexico.
He'll have a van, I think.
Ah, he has a van.
Oh. When did the van come along?
Well, I think it was
Wait, first George.
Christmas present.
a Christmas present.
Go for
I
it.
think he will have made inroads into a business of his own
Okay.
at that time.
With Noah?
Yes, with Noah.
So-
Myself, the interior design nutrition, I think he will have it off the ground. And the snack bars that we have are in burgundy cherry, and I think the van will be painted to burgundy cherry. Or he'll have it-
okay.
George, you're into this. George is into the future. Very good.
Sounds like it's been quite a year. Because at the beginning of the year, you moved into Courtyard, and that was pretty neat, and Savoy was helping out there. But a lot of your time went into this whole business venture, which is really taking off with you and Noah and other people working on that. Really started to pick up in the fall. And you went to work and you were out recruiting, and developing the systems and the telephone ordering system. And you began to look at opening a storefront here and there, and one in the co-op, and so there's just an enormous amount of effort going into the business here.
Remember back from the dream to a period 1 year from now. Goals should be both possible and positive.
Grounding in the now is the third piece of the path process. And finally, we get people back to the present. And it's short, and we say to people, just tell us what it is right now. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. This is just what it is. Go for it, give us a snapshot.
What I want you to, we just want a few words and images so that when you look at this in 6 months, you'll be able to say, oh yeah, that's what was going on then, okay? So what are some of the words or images that give you an idea of what's going on now?
His life was very empty for quite a while. And right now the things are starting to come back, but it was quite empty, and as a result was quite lonely.
Do you agree with those? Empty and lonely? Yeah. Good, okay.
The voice board is exploratory, and it'll
Exploratory.
right now, and
Okay.
that's that.
Yeah?
I was having nervous times about moving into the co-op.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of colds and this, that, and the other thing, and it was probably related to the stress. And now that he's
Yeah.
kind of moving away from that bad scene into a good scene, and he's got nutritional products, and he's going to have vitamins, and building himself up, he's really going to become a new person.
No,
Complete
Noah, you
transformation.
just summed it up.
Once you've got the now and the future laid out, it's really helpful to add a little emotional depth to that. And what you do is literally walk people over, at least in their imagination, to the future and ask for emotional and feeling words or images. And then do exactly the same with the now, so that what you're looking for is the contrast between what it feels like to be in the future and what it feels like now.
What's it feel like over here? Achievement. Okay. What's it feel like over here?
Freedom.
Fun.
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 I just want to have fun.
Okay. Freedom. Okay, which word? You like, which word?
Freedom.
Okay, of those words, achievement, freedom, fun, which one? Freedom?
Yeah.
Was the word you responded to?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other word that you want up there to sum up that future?
Success.
Success?
Yeah.
Okay.
Respect.
Respect? Okay, now we're going to come back to the present.
What does it feel like here?
Can I help you, Joe?
Yeah.
Very confusing. Because he's riding the hills and the valleys.
Yeah. What would a symbol of what it feels like be now? What symbols might you use? You know, or some of these and anything. I mean, you come up with some very interesting symbols. What symbolizes now?
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah.
Don't dwell on the present. Use images and feelings to contrast the now segment with the dream.
Step 4, identifying people to enroll, is the key in the action planning for PATH. It starts to say to people, do you want to go into this future? And if you do, you're going to have to identify some people to take with you on the plan.
And the first person you have to decide about is yourself. If you really want to go there, you have to enroll yourself. And the subclause in that is you aren't going to make it alone. So you have to enroll other people. And that's what this is about.
Often we physically ask a person to get up, or if they're in a wheelchair, to move, and to physically ask people to join them on their path. And we've done this with an organization, we've done this with a person. That physical act of asking is very, very key.
This is a really good time to get people to actually begin practicing asking by doing it. Most people are real good at saying they'll do it, but this is the time you actually start asking people.
I want you to go and get the people that you want to take into the future. I want you to go get them. Okay, and say, come on, tell them to come. Okay, that's one. Okay, who else? And go get, you get whoever you want. It's your show. As many as you want. Savoy.
Coming too?
And nobody's gonna, yeah, I know you want everybody, but maybe you'll get everybody up here, but we want you to get them up. Okay? Okay, that's your future, Joe. That's your future.
Since we've taken a look at where you are now, and we know more or less where you want to get to, all we got to do is get there. Now, lesson 1 in all the new management literature says that if you try to do that alone, you won't make it. That's not about you, that's just about the way life's working in 1993. So the first and most critical question is, who do you need to enroll? Who do you need to involve? Who do you need to hook in with in order to help you get from here to here? Now, you already started that. We already did that. And you did a very powerful thing. You asked people. You invited them to come up. And so there's a couple of things that you did so fast that it's rather amazing. First of all, you decided you wanted to do this, and so you bought in big. Because the first person you got to enroll on any journey is yourself. And lots of people plan a journey, but they don't really get involved, so it doesn't work. But I think you bought in, right? So can we put Joe here?
Yeah.
See, that gives direction to your life. If that's where you want to go, you got to buy in. Okay. So you named a whole bunch of people. I want to get those names up. But on top of that, there are going to be other people you need to enroll. So we'll get the names of the people here. And one way to think about this is you take a look at some of the stuff you want to do, and you roll backwards. You think who do I need to enroll in order to get there? So if you want to get involved in this camping expedition with the bicycle committee, you got to get to know some of those people and join it. It doesn't just happen by accident. You see what I mean? So there are lots of examples here, but who do you need to enroll?
There are two people here who are key, that's Beth and Savoy. But there will be others as well who are not here. And I think they need to be completely enrolled in this vision as well.
A support circle is
Okay.
important. That's already in place or getting going anyway.
Well, that's, okay, good.
I know there must be somebody in the city who understands this communication thing and understands computers. And I know, I don't mean to put anybody down, but I know they don't exist within the disability world. But somebody out there has cracked this, and we haven't found that person yet. We have to find that person.
We won't complete this right now, partly because it's going to evolve. As you work on different things, you're going to identify suddenly, oh, we need somebody who can really put together a finance package to make this work, or a presentation package for somebody, or whatever it is. And you need to go and recruit those people. But if you can identify this core group here, then you can figure out what we don't got and who we need to go to fill the hole. So Judith's idea of we need somebody in communications, we don't have the name, but we know we have the need. That's maybe all we can do right now, but at least you get the issue up, then you can proceed.
Enroll yourself first, then actively enroll others. You can't do it alone.
Recognizing ways to build strength is really the anti-burnout question of the past. It's the long haul question. It asks, what are you going to do to stay strong enough to get from your present to your desirable future?
And there's two layers to it. First of all, there's what are you going to do personally to get stronger. This isn't about how do you take care of yourself in any greedy sense. It's about how do you get stronger, what do you do to support yourself so you're in for the long haul. The other layer is to do with your team, your family, your organization. What do you need to do to build your team so it's stronger, so it can stay together for the long haul? If you're going to move from where we are now to here in about a year, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work on top of a lot of work that's already going on. I mean, there's a lot of things to do. That means that it's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of commitment from a lot of people. And that means they're going to have to do even more when they're already busy. They got to really buy in. So the question is, how do you get stronger to be able to do all this? Some of it can be very simple. Like Marsha and I on the way over here stopped, had a coffee, sort of got calm and centered, and parked our garbage so that we could be very, very focused. And so that's something you have to do.
Start with you. What do you need to do to be strong enough to get from there to there?
I don't know.
Can I play with some of the images you've already had? See, maybe it's that it really makes you, sort of gets you centered for the day if you go and get the newspaper and read it. I don't know. Some people, if they don't get their morning newspaper, they just feel the world is falling apart. Or maybe you need to get to Variety Village and shoot baskets 3 days a week. I don't know. It could be, it's whatever it is that you need so you can be really focused on this and you can pull your team together.
The people that Joe enrolled into his path to make some sort of commitment so that Joe knows what the commitment they are making to him.
Home at the co-op needs to be put together real fast. And to me, that means really two things. One, that his attendants get trained up real fast so that he's secure, and more importantly, his parents are secure. And so that everybody can relax on the basic level. And also means, I think, that his stereo's set up and he can play his music and do stuff like that without any problem, right? So that there's a certain relaxation can happen on that side.
Building strength is critical for the long-term success of both the individual and the team.
Don't worry. we're into the action phases. What we really do is drift back from the dream to 3, or we actually usually use 3 months and then 1 month, but you drift back close to the present. And what you do is fill that out with very realistic stuff. So you actually get down to who's doing what, when, and where. And what you really do here is you bring reality to the dream.
Which is why this is both an exciting step and an uncomfortable step for people, because it's getting close. It's really asking people, what are you going to do to take some steps to get along your path?
So what we've done so far is we've taken a look at where you are now, who we need to get involved, what you need to do to be strong enough to get all those people involved and to be able to make progress. Then really usually we do 3 steps here, but I think given today, you're going so fast that we don't need to do 3. Usually what we do is we say, here, let's take a look, thinking backwards, to where we would be in 3 months. And we would literally just take these things and come backwards to what's happened already by September. And since you're going so fast here, and I think the way people are thinking, we don't need to do that here today. So what we're going to do right now is just go to a month.
What has happened, ED, we're back in the future by August, and so you go first, George.
July the 8th, you'll have I had a support circle meeting. The people have been invited to a meeting at that time.
Okay.
At Joe's apartment for them.
He had a meeting?
Is having. He would have had, though, in August, yes.
A little coaching here, George. Okay, he had.
Yes.
And it was great, right? Okay. What else happened? Yeah.
Joe signed up at the local rec center.
Memorial Community Center.
It's is that right? Swimming?
Joe signed up at the rec center.
Rec center. What did you sign up for?
Just signed up swimming.
Keep the group in the future. Probe for specific actions, not general statements.
Committing to the first step is where we actually begin to give this whole thing motion. This is where we pick up momentum. You've got to start doing it now.
And what the facilitator pushes for is detail and commitment. No general broad statements here. It's what are you going to do, when are you going to do it, and with whom are you going to do it?
And you got to do it now.
And you got to do it with somebody or several people. Don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone. If you don't figure out what a first step is, you never get started. Because the longest journey begins just with that much. And that first movement is really hard, because you got to decide to go, and you got to move it. And then you got momentum after that. But the first little push is really hard work. So what's your first move? And that can be today or tomorrow, but it's got to be soon. It's got to be, can be small, but you got to start if you're going to do this. So how do you start? What's the first push?
Friend? Yeah. You have to involve your friends. Great. That's what I wanted to see. And I think that's what Kevin was talking about, that you have to get people involved, which you did. But I just wanted to make sure. And on the part of the group, what is the first step?
A very practical meeting before I go to McGill, because I'd like to be there.
Okay, very practical. When's that?
So somewhere around the 2nd of July would be the latest. With Noah and Savoy and the other attendants and myself and 1 or 2 other people there. And at that meeting, with Noah's help, we create our evaluation plan for the summer so that we can have specific accomplishments that we want to have accomplished over the summer with Joe.
As you get to a month from now and as you get to first steps, it's not good enough anymore to say, well, we'll just have a meeting. It's got to be who's going to meet where, when, at whose place, who's bringing the peanuts, who's making the phone calls, who's licking the stamps. So Is there going to be a meeting before July 2? Or on July 2? Are people buying into, see, I mean, we don't have to do it right now, but before we leave the room, unless that meeting is planned, it won't happen.
Push for detail and commitment. Generate momentum.
Sometimes as we're looking for a first step, people are stuck. That's okay. And what you have to do as the facilitator is find out what's blocking. Sometimes you can resolve that on the spot, sometimes you can't. And if you can't, then we have to deal with that. And you have to put off the path implementation until you get the block out of the way. Another frustration is that some people want everything resolved in 2 hours or whatever it is. That's not going to happen. What we have achieved, if we've got a dream and we've got a goal which has some elements, with time you can take each of those elements and do in effect a mini path on housing or on business or on any other aspect. And so you can actually flesh it out so you can help achieve your dream.
And as the path ends, it really begins, because path is a journey. It's not stone tablets. It's a road. And so we roll up the path, we hand it to the people, and we wish them the best of luck as they take their first steps together on that journey to the future. Now we get to wind it up and have just a sort of a free-for-all in terms of give us some words or images that sum up what the process was for these couple of hours that we've been together.
Some things are actually, I wouldn't say shocking, but they come as a mild surprise to quite a surprise, some of the aspirations that Joe has or future.
Like?
Oh, I think the idea of business. I didn't know that, I knew he always wanted to work because this is a symbol for work, and he's, I think, raised, has a good work ethic, but I never knew it had a business component to it, or the money. I'm very glad it's got money.
Relieving.
How was it relieving?
Well, just to see that Joe can form his plan and involve people in his plans and carry on without us in his plans. I think this is marvelous. I don't, we were left on this side, and I thought that was wonderful.
All of us have dreams of work, happiness, and business, friendships, activities, and to me that was really revealing because, living with Joe, you get so used to seeing him as someone that is disabled, and you lose sight of the person and what their dreams may be.
Wendy, what is this? Can you put it into words?
I can put it in some words.
Okay.
Give it a chance. It's very emotional and raw, because we've had Joseph since this big, and of course you see that the thing expands out to other people, and we didn't want to ask. We tried to go at it alone for a large part of the time. And then we see the other boys growing up to men, so it's a very, very big and a raw thing with us.